Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me is Gautam Sukumar, Senior Vice President of Product Management at ADP, to discuss how technology and data can help manage employee sentiment and allow leaders to make decisions in real time to protect their business and workforce. Gautam, welcome to Trade Talks.
Thank you for having me, Jill. I'm excited to be here.
And as companies look to bring their teams back to the office, what is the biggest issue leaders are facing?
Yeah, these are extraordinary times and unprecedented in many ways, right? And as we think about the challenges and the issues that our companies and their people are facing, I can think of that in three dimensions. One is, how is the notion of work changing, right? Where does work happen? Who does the work? How does it happen and when? It's all undergoing sort of a seismic shift. The second thing that we're having our clients tell us that they're facing an issue with is around the notion of engagement and productivity. How do you manage people? How do you make sure that they're engaged? How do you know that they're performing well in this remote environment? Like 6 months ago, there were a lot of remote workers, but not to this scale, right? And what we're seeing is some companies are reporting actually an uptick in productivity, but we don't know if that's going to last. We don't know if that's sustainable. It's very uncertain, and clients are asking us, hey, how do we manage through that? And the third thing, as the economy stabilizes, as markets open up, as people bring their employees back to work, they're looking to ADP to provide them tools to do that safely, to do that effectively, so their employees feel they're safe and secure coming back to work.
How is ADP helping companies solve for these challenges, bringing people back into the office?
Yeah, ADP has been around for 70 years, and as we think about our mission, I think there are a few core components of our mission. The first one, obviously, is business continuity, right? And as the world shut down and the economy shut down, payroll is an essential service, and I'm really proud of how ADP stepped up and actually, had no interruption to payroll delivery even during the strictest of lockdowns globally. So a very cool testament to how resilient and how great the ADP workforce is and how we were able to respond to that. The second is compliance, right? And if you think between March and now, the amount of regulation that has happened is just unprecedented. We like to joke around here that it's like the gift that keeps on giving, right? It started with FFCRA, the CARES Act, PPP, SBA, 401k, tax deferral, now the executive order. It's just nonstop. And that's just the US now. If you think about it globally, it just compounds in scale. But ADP has been there with our clients, providing them the security that they're going to be compliant no matter how frequently or how complex the legislation is and how frequently it changes. And finally, as I said, returning to workplace is a key component of how we bring our employees or our clients' employees back to work, and we're enabling that through our technology solutions as well.
Let's talk about those solutions. What are the specific solutions ADP is designing to help companies navigate this path forward?
Yeah, so we call it the Return to Workplace Suite. It's actually a comprehensive set of tools that we've deployed for our clients to bring their employees back to work, right? And it actually four main components to it. The first is scheduling, right? Who do you bring back to work? Which office? You can even schedule people by floor. So I want to bring back people only on the first floor and the third floor, so the second floor is empty. Or I want to bring back 10% of the first floor and 20% of the second floor and 10% of the third floor. So you can manage who you bring back by office, by city, what have you, through the scheduling component of the suite. The second part of the suite is the surveys. So we have multiple types of surveys that enable our employers and their practitioners to assess the sentiment and health of the employees returning to work. The third aspect is contact tracing. So we know that if people fall sick, we want to be sure that we have data on who might have been exposed and prevent those people from coming back to work, maybe getting others sick. And finally, a dashboard. You can think of that as sort of the command center that sort of brings all of it together. So as I said, it's a comprehensive set of tools that brings everything that an employer would need to bring people back to work safely.
So what's included in this dashboard? How does that work?
Yes, the dashboard, as I said, is a command center, right? It's sort of the nervous hub and a central nervous system, or the hub of how all the decisions are made for returning to workplace. It includes in one easy location all the information that a practitioner would need to make decisions on who to bring back. As I said, the scheduling piece is in there, the contact tracing piece is in there, the survey piece is in there, but it also has all the results that come back from the surveys, from the contact tracing, from the scheduling, and there are real-time metrics and dashboards that tell the employers how things are trending and what decisions they might need to make differently or make change so that they can continue to keep their employees safe.
And to wrap up, what's involved in the survey functionality?
The survey functionality actually has two components to it. One is the health attestation piece, where we ask employees questions around how they're feeling and whether they might have been exposed to the virus. So this is an important piece of information for employers to have as they bring people back to work. So if you've been exposed or you've experienced any of the symptoms related to COVID, then we know that we don't want you coming back, and we prevent that employee from actually coming back into the workplace. The second aspect is a sentiment, which I think is equally important, and we've gotten good feedback from our clients. It is, how are you feeling about coming back to work, right? Even before you come back to work, we send out sentiment surveys a few weeks in advance that test how many people are feeling nervous, anxious, or actually feeling confident about coming back to work. And I think it's been a really good set of tools to assess both the sentiment, but also to measure the health and wellness of our clients' employees.
And Gautam, I just want to throw one more question at you.
Yeah.
Speaking of these types of questions, this is the first time I think we've been as personally involved with our companies. So from the employee perspective, I would imagine data security is clearly a priority with a survey like that.
Oh, for sure. So we're not doing anything that is HIPAA, that goes into HIPAA regulations, right? So we're not asking them, we're not taking the temperature in the survey itself. What we're asking them is basic questions like, have you had a fever? Are you feeling okay? Do you have a sore throat? Have you been exposed to any sort of, have you been exposed to a person that might have come in contact with the person that had COVID? So those are the kinds of questions we're asking. We're not definitely not getting into any HIPAA regulated information there. But most importantly, I think any data that ADP has is completely secure. It's fully with the consent of the employees. We have one of our most important assets, if you will, is data security, and we take that very, very seriously. So there's no risk there from a data perspective.
All right, appreciate the insight. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks.
Thank you, Jill.
And thanks for joining me. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.